Welcome back to the Varsity Squad Show. What's up, guys? I'm your host, Sheldon.
And I'm Landon.
Landon, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Getting ready for the weekend?
Yeah, getting ready for the game tonight, actually.
Who are you playing?
Apollo.
Apollo.
Yeah.
Adam Muhammad.
Muhammad. So,
It'd be a good game.
yeah, pretty excited.
Sure. Landon, tell us about our AIA volleyball to start off.
In AIA volleyball, Winslow was able to beat Camp Verde, winning 3 out of the 4 sets played. Valley Lutheran beat Fort Thomas, winning the 4th set with a 25-14 score. Mesa laid down a smackdown on Dobson, winning all 3 sets by a big margin. Now, Sheldon, talk about our CAA for us.
All right, so Landon, we got the CAA playoffs. Already we're midway through the playoffs for CAA volleyball. So we're in the Final Four for both right now. We have Trinity Christian versus Ridgeline Academy. That's going to be a great game. Trinity's obviously the number 1 team. They didn't lose all year. Versus, a really, really good Heritage Academy team who will be playing, Phoenix College Prep. Who do you got winning those games?
I definitely have Trinity Christian winning on the one side.
You think they're going to beat Ridgeline?
Just because they haven't lost.
They've been fantastic this year.
So that's the reason for that. And they are the higher seed. I can't really choose between the other ones because, they're both very close in rank. They're both very equally matched.
Right.
So
Phoenix is that team that, throughout the year, they didn't blow everybody out, but they were consistently winning games, maybe in the 5th set, maybe winning in the 4th set. Yeah. Whereas Heritage Academy kind of blew everybody out, just like Trinity Christian did. Mm-hmm. So this might be a tough game. This game might go all 5 sets. But so far, every game in the playoffs has been 3-0. So we haven't had a whole lot of, let's just say, real nail-biter games, you should say, that made it all the way to the 5th set. What do you think about that?
Well, that's definitely mind-blowing, you could say, because I expected there to be closer games for the first round of playoffs as well, just because it's playoffs, so that's where all the top teams are.
Right.
So
best of the best playing each other.
It being 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0 is just like, what happened, Because I'm not really... It's just, I can't understand how that happened,
I know. And now let's go to Division 1 in volleyball. We have Holy Family Academy playing Maryville Prep. Holy Family Academy is another team that was fantastic all year long. I think they lost only 1 game, and they were the number 2 ranked team in all of CAA. Throughout the year, they didn't move, ever go down from that number 2 spot. They're playing a number 4 ranked Maryville Prep. That might be a good game, but we could also see Holy Family Academy just sweep them in 3 sets.
3-0 again.
And see another 3-0.
Because it's only been 3-0 in this bracket too.
And then we have Basis, the 2 seed versus the 3 seed, so that could be a tougher game. And Basis Mesa versus the Thunderbird Adventist Academy. Mm-hmm. Who do you got for that game?
I definitely have to say Basis for that one, just because.
With the higher rank?
Yeah, just because of a higher rank, so that means they definitely did better during the season, so that's why I'm saying Basis.
Right. Now to jump over to soccer. Soccer, we're also, right in the middle of our brackets, and soccer's looking really, really good so far as well. Just like the CAA, which will be played next week in the finals. So tell us about some of those soccer games that have already happened.
So we had 4 games play already, and
in Division 2, right?
Yeah, in Division 2, and Pan American won 13-0 against the 8th ranked Heritage Academy, which it's not really surprising because it's 1 against 8.
And
but at the same time,
Pan American didn't lose a game all year.
Yeah,
so.
But at the same time, they haven't lost, and they are the 1 seed, so it's not super surprising. But we are going to have number 1 against number 4. Okay. Pan American against Maricopa Institute of Technology. Yep. So I definitely am going to have Pan American on that one too.
Break it down. Do you think they're going to go the season undefeated?
Just because I feel like all the 1 teams in every spot will most likely go all the way. Just because all the 1 teams were definitely top tier,
Right, all year long.
Yeah.
And then we got Glenview College Prep versus Empower College Prep. That could be a good game. That's the 3 seed versus the 2 seed. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a coin flip type of game. But Empower's a team that they were ranked, I believe, 3 or 4 all year long in the CAA. So I'm going to give this game to them. I think they're going to get it. And I think we're going to see the number 1 versus the number 2 team in the championship for Division 2.
Okay.
Now moving on to Division 1. Of course, Villa de Marie's in the semifinal. They had a bye week in the quarterfinal game. So they're going straight into the semifinal because they were just that fantastic all year. They're playing Maryville Prep. Who do you got?
Well, I definitely have Ville Marie, but I feel like Maryville Prep is actually going to put up a fight for this game just because they're coming off a win, and I feel like they're feeling good coming into the semifinals.
Sure.
But if anything, Ville Marie is definitely going to take that game. But for the other game, we have Arrowhead Christian Academy against Tri-City Prep. So those are two equally matched.
It seems like in every bracket throughout the CA, it's the 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3, which is when you're if you're the CA making these brackets, that's probably what you're going to see, but because you're not expecting upsets, and we haven't had any yet. And like we said in the volleyball, a lot of 3-0, but soccer has been a lot of 1-0, 2-1, a lot of closer games in soccer. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's something that we're going to see throughout the rest of the playoffs? A lot of close games, not a whole lot of blowouts, other than the Pan American game, of course.
Well, definitely, just because the farther the brackets go, the closer in rank the teams are. So, right. I mean, you're definitely going to have way closer games than you did in the first round. So we're definitely going to have a bunch of closer games.
Right. I can't wait to see how these games turn out. They're played next week. Some of the games are at ASU West, where the flag games were played. Some games are at the ASU in Tempe, I believe, which is, that's a fantastic court to play on for volleyball. And I think it's going to be very, very competitive games for semis and the championships. I can't wait to see how things turn out.
Yeah.
Hey guys, that's going to wrap up our CAA and AIA recap. Up next, we're going to talk about a pair of outstanding athletes, so don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. Now it's time to take a look at some outstanding athletes across Arizona. Our first athlete, we're going to talk about Harmony Andrade from Willow Canyon. Now, when you mention success and softball in the same sentence, you're mostly talking about Harmony Andrade, Willow Canyon High School, a softball player, and she's a junior. Now in middle school, Harmony played softball at Legacy West Surprise, one of the best, softball teams in junior high CAA. Now, she was a 2-time champion there, and she was also the MVP and the unanimous Player of the Year her 8th grade year. Now a junior, she will be looking for her 3rd straight state title for Willow Canyon, and who knows, maybe even she'll have a clean sweep of 4 championships throughout her career. And she also has a lost game. They were 10-0 freshman year, and they were 8-0 last year. And of course, they finished the season getting the ring, but she may never lose a game in high school. Who knows? And since she was a little girl, her and her mother went to her brother's baseball game when her mother said, "I want you to be my little softball girl." And it was just a small little comment, but who knows? This could be that comment could be something that turns her into a professional softball player. And this statement motivated Harmony to really get into the sport, spending much time learning how to catch and throw a ball and all the basic fundamentals that go into the sport. And much of this was her natural athletic ability. Now, she is a fantastic player playing softball, but her classroom performance should not go unaccounted for. She has a 4.3 GPA, which is above average and above perfect. Now, her play was enough to get a lot of college attention, but her GPA gave her that extra bump from full-ride scholarship. She just had a visit with Oregon State University, and she came back, successful. She's going to be a Beaver one day. And let's just say she has 2 more years of being a Wildcat, but like I just said, she's going to be a Beaver in 2 years when she goes to college, as she is committed to a full-ride scholarship to Oregon State University. Now, Landon, tell us about our second athlete.
Alright, next up, we're going to talk about Natalie Lorenzo, a freshman at Desert Ridge High School and a big contributor to the varsity volleyball team. She is the outside hitter, standing at 5'10", and leads her team in kills per set with 3.1, total kills of 266, aces with 37, and receptions with 416. She's doing this all as a freshman. She started playing at the age of 7 and has played club volleyball throughout her life, including beach volleyball. She's also got an older sister that currently plays D1 beach volleyball at the University of Hawaii. So the athleticism as well as the competitiveness and success seems to run in the family. I'm sure it's helped having a role model like her sister. She's only a freshman already doing well in varsity. Desert Ridge has had an up and down season, but Natalie has definitely had a positive impact. With 3 years to go in her high school career, you can expect huge and amazing things.
Wow, that's amazing. Talk about these 2 young athletes who are doing great big things in their respective sports. Mm-hmm. First, I want to talk about Harmony. Now, you go to school with her. You go to Willow Canyon. She goes to Willow Canyon. You're in the same grade, I believe. Do you know her?
I've talked to her a couple times.
Okay.
We're not close or anything,
okay,
but I see her around. She's definitely. I've seen her.
And you've been to a couple softball games, right?
Yeah, I actually have.
And you've seen how crazy good they are.
Our team is crazy good. I can't even with words say how good they are.
Yeah, and like I said, the last 2 seasons for Willow Canyon, they haven't lost a game.
Yeah,
they win the entire regular season. Mm-hmm. And of course, they make it all to the state final. They beat Canyon View last year, and it was a close game.
They beat Canyon View twice in a row. They beat 2 state championships in a row.
So those are probably some of the top 2 teams, mm-hmm, at least in the 5A division.
Yeah.
And Harmony is one of that. She's a team leader, and she did this her freshman and sophomore year. So she was one of the younger players at varsity, but her impact was enormous. Mm-hmm. And what do you think about her going to Oregon? I think that's as a junior already committed.
That's crazy. It's a D1 college. So it's definitely huge, yep, especially going to visits as a junior. So,
and she hasn't played her junior year yet. That's not till the spring.
Yeah.
So she's only played 2 full seasons. She's a junior, and she's already has a full-ride scholarship for 4 years.
And she hasn't even. They haven't even started this season.
I know.
That's just based off of 2 years.
That's how much confidence they have in her, how good she is, because she's been doing this since middle school. Mm-hmm. As I said, West Surprise, they're one of the best softball teams. I had a softball game last night, and
she's actually been playing softball since 6 years old.
6 years old.
6 years old.
She was playing club, right? and she also played at the middle school.
Yeah, she played softball, and she was most likely doing rec just to start off, and then popped in the club as she got older. So
right, and as I said, I had a softball game last night in the CAA, and it was 2 schools with a lot of rec players, a lot of players that don't play club. Mm-hmm. But when you have that club girl that plays with a bunch of, I would say rec, they're just playing for fun. They're not, they're still learning maybe. Mm-hmm. They stand out like a sore thumb. And certainly she's playing with a lot of other great players, but she still sticks out. That's how good she is. Mm-hmm. Now talking about Natalie, fantastic in volleyball.
Yeah, 266 kills as a freshman is blowing my mind. I can't even comprehend how amazing that is.
No offense to you, but you just had your first volleyball season last year. And I don't think you had that many kills, So.
Yeah, well, it's my first time ever playing volleyball.
Sure, sure. She may be a freshman, but this isn't her first rodeo.
Yeah. So
and she's 5'10", so that already gives her the edge to be dominant. At that you said outside hitter, right?
Yeah.
So she's coming in. It's hard to block her because she's able to hit that ball so high and so hard,
especially when the girls' nets are a little lower. So
yeah. And she has a lot of blocks as well, right? Mm-hmm. Again, because she's so tall. What a competitive advantage when you're that tall, because you can't teach height. You know what I mean? If you're playing somebody who's got a taller girl or a faster girl, whatever it might be, you can't teach it. You can't coach your team against that. It's very hard to, at least. Mm. And certainly a lot of teams have had trouble defending her this year. Mm. And I think she's a freshman. She's got 3 more years of this. And these high school coaches, in the same division as that school are going to have a hard time these next 3 years, I assume, because I assume she's going to play all 4 years.
Yeah.
And she's going to be fantastic. Now, do you think she's going to get she's only a freshman, so I'm not sure if college is looking at her yet. Do you see colleges in her future?
I definitely see colleges looking at her and offering her something, just because she's only a freshman and she's already an outstanding athlete on her show.
Yeah.
So, with 3 more years...
And one of the best players on her team.
Yeah, and as a freshman, you're 5'10". She'll probably be over 6 foot. Senior year.
That would be scary.
That would definitely be... I'd be scared if I was the other coach.
Yeah, and then I do want to say, what do you think about maybe opponents when they're playing a player like Harmony? Do you think there's any different mindset when you're playing somebody who's already committed to a college? Do you think that maybe makes them a little nervous, or
always
a little intimidated?
Yeah, because you always hear about that player before the game, days before the game. So you're always thinking, oh, they're a 4-star athlete, they're a 5-star athlete, and all your team does is talk about them.
Right,
because that's the person you have to focus on and who you got to look at during the game. Because you're like, okay, so this is her weak points, this is her strong points. But, I mean, if they're going to a college, they have very few weak points.
Sure. And she went from being a a very, very big player in Arizona to now she's going to be a national player, and people I think are going to know about her across the country, especially when she plays in Oregon, who's one of the better softball programs. And it'd be amazing to see her want to be the best players in that team. I mean, I think she could do it. Mm-hmm. And even when she graduates from Willow Canyon, I assume she'll finish there because of how good they are. Mm-hmm. Once she gets to Oregon, if she can continue that success of winning championships and all that kind of stuff, it's like she is just a winner. She won in middle school, high school, and then if she can do it in college, she's gonna have more rings than she has fingers, and I can't wait to see that. Hey guys, that's gonna wrap up our outstanding athletes. Up next, our CAA and AIA football report. So don't go anywhere. All right, guys, welcome back. Now we're going to go to our AIA report for football games going on tonight. We have a lot of games going on tonight, actually. But just to talk about a few, we have number 15, Sandra Day O'Connor, playing at the best team in the state, number 1 Liberty. We have 18, Chaparral, playing the number 5 team in the state, Saguaro. We have Castile playing Hamilton. That's 7th ranked Castile versus 4th ranked Hamilton. That's going to be a great game tonight. We have number 9, Notre Dame Prep, playing at Skyline. And our game of the week is set to be a great game. We have number 3, Basha, who is 6-1, playing the number 2 team in the state, and number 9, National, Chandler, who is 7-0. Now we also have a lot of great games going in the CAA football this weekend, but they're playoffs. So Landon, tell us about these brackets.
Well, a big night for CAA football, no doubt, as tonight will be the first round of games in the playoffs. In the Division II bracket, we have Ajo at James Madison Prep. We have Imagine Prep, Coolidge at AZ Compass. Both of these games will be played... Both of these games will be played in-game before the semifinal games that will take place next Saturday. In Division I bracket, we have Mission Heights Prep at Canyon State Academy. We have El Dorado at Heritage Academy Mesa. And these games will also be play-in games for the eventual semis played next weekend.
Landon, I'm excited for these CAA playoffs. Mm-hmm. You know, of course, I did a lot of games throughout the season with my crew. We have another game tonight. We have James Madison Prep versus Ajo. Ajo's going to be, making the drive to James Madison out, I believe it's Chandler. And that's going to be a really good game. Ajo's a team that they've played really, really good this season with Mimo Ortiz as the quarterback, who's been fantastic. And we've also seen him kind of slip up a couple games and lose some games that I thought they were going to win. And it's kind of put him a little kind of mid-tier in terms of ranked teams. And I haven't seen James Madison Prep, so I haven't seen what they can do, but the fact they're in the playoffs speaks for itself. And it's going to be a great game. What do you think about some of the other games that are going on?
Well, we talked about AIA.
Right. Oh, yeah, AIA.
Yeah, AIA. And that Basha Chandler game, I'm just going to say this, and I'm not saying Basha's going to lose. Well, actually, you know what? It is what I'm saying. Just because Chandler is a straight powerhouse.
Right. Every year they are.
We thought Basha and Liberty was going to be a great game. And Liberty just went out and smoked them. And Chandler is a team that is not going to allow themselves to get smoked yet beat this season. So I feel like Chandler's just going to go out and do what Chandler does and put up a ton of points on the board.
So what's your predicted score? Because it kind of seems like they're just going to smack them.
Because I feel like it's going to be around the same score it was with Liberty.
35-7? That was the score.
So I if anything, the score is going to be like 28-7.
28-7, that's your prediction?
Something like that.
I think it's going to be closer than that. I think Liberty this year is just fantastic, and I don't know if we're going to see Liberty and Chandler play each other, but I think that'd be a close game. But I think Chandler and Basha is a little closer ranked than Liberty and Basha are. And
we haven't seen Chandler play Liberty yet.
Right, so
because you can't say Liberty is technically better than Chandler because they haven't played each other yet. They both have the same record and everything. So we'll definitely see who is more powerful when it comes to winning games. Because we're gonna see, already saw Liberty and Basha play, so now we're gonna see Chandler and Basha play. So we'll definitely see if it's a closer game, like way more competitive, then we can definitely say Liberty is the better team.
Sure, right. Because Liberty did smack him 35-7, and that was a game that I think Basha scored. With minutes left to go in the game, it was a meaningless 7 points, but 7 points, no less. But to allow 35 points to Navi, Navi put on a show that night. I don't think they're going nowhere from that number 1 spot. Now you said you had a game tonight. You're playing Apollo. What's the outlook on this game?
It's actually a huge game for us in particular, just because Apollo is top of our region right now. So if we win this game, we are top of the region, and we have to win the rest of the season.
So you'll bump them down if you win this game?
If we win this game, we go to top of the region, and we have a playoff spot.
Sweet. Regardless of the rest of the season?
We have to win out. We have to win out.
But you think this is the toughest game you're going to have?
This is the toughest game. Because Ironwood, That's fine. I'm not really stressing about.
I don't know.
We already watched film on Ironwood, and we watched film on Goldwater.
Well, film is film. That's not play. I'm just putting that out there.
I know. I'm just saying, Apollo is definitely gonna be our toughest game because Adam Muhammad.
Right.
But I feel like our defense can definitely shut him down if we execute what we have to do on the field, because their defense, he's also there too. So
you said he might be the guy guarding you.
Yeah, because he guards the slots, and I'm a slot. So I mean, I think it's gonna be a good matchup. I think it's exciting. It's gonna be fun because I don't like going against easy people because it's not something I like.
So you're saying you don't like blowing teams out?
No, it's more so I don't like non-competitiveness.
Okay.
I like the thrill of going against someone that matches my energy and matches my competitiveness, just because I don't want to be the person that just brags about smacking someone because there's no competitiveness there.
Okay, so with that, Adam Muhammad, Cardinals Player of the Week. Early in the season, we put him on. We talked about him on our show for our stats. He was one of our outstanding athletes. He's been checking all the boxes for being amazing this year. He had that 400-yard game. I think 6 touchdowns that game, and he's a fantastic player on both sides of the ball.
And he already has 1,080 yards on the season.
He is arguably maybe the best running back in the state right now across all of Arizona, and he's fantastic. Now, your defense has been really, really good this year. Do you think you guys can hold him down to under, let's just say, he's been averaging 170 yards a game. So if you could hold him under 150, 100 yards, does that give you guys a shot?
It definitely gives us a shot, just because you hear about teams. You don't hear about just this player is the team. Like,
True.
It feels like he is the only standout player on that team.
Sure.
Because I haven't heard any other names from that team. I haven't heard, the quarterback's good. I haven't heard the receiver's good. Their defense is lockdowns.
Okay.
I've only heard their running back. He plays defense, offense, punt returner, kick returner. It's like he's a one-man team.
Okay. So you're thinking
if we shut him down, because we have a team. We don't have a player.
Right.
And they have a player. It doesn't really seem like they have a whole great team.
Right. Yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. I can't wait to see if you guys can hold him down, and if he runs wild on you guys, you guys are going to have a hard time winning the game. But no less, no doubt, I think it's going to be a good game.
But we do have a couple minor setbacks too.
Right.
We have 2 starting DNs out with concussions, and we have a starting linebacker with a broken collarbone. So
I see.
It's definitely rough.
Well, I'm sure you guys will play fine with what you guys got. I'm sure those backups will, they'll enjoy playing varsity, right? Filling those spots. Hopefully they can fill those spots. Hopefully you guys can get that game. And a lot of games playing tonight across all of Arizona, AIA, CAA. Like I said, we got the CAA playoffs starting, and first round play-in games. So can't wait to see the rest of the season and the CAA playoffs, the brackets. And of course, we're down to the end of our AIA season, and a few more weeks and we'll be in the playoffs for there. So I can't wait. Hey guys, that's going to wrap up our CAA and AIA report. Up next, our pro sports report in the big leagues. So don't go away. Welcome back, guys. Now it's time for In the Big Leagues, our pro sports report. First up, let's talk about our Sun Scoop. Well, the preseason woes the Suns had seem to be over finally. They're 3-1 and have had a fantastic year against some of the top teams in the NBA. They will be tested again tonight. They will hosting the 3-1 Pelicans, who are led by a young player, Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. Pelicans are also a top team to beat in the Western Conference right now, and a very young core that has played extremely well with each other. The Suns will need Devin Booker to again deliver. He has been possibly the MVP this year so far, averaging 32 points per game and is fourth in the league in scoring. Now, Chris Paul, he needs to start scoring. Only scoring around 12 points a game, but he is first in assists with 10.3 assists per game. While the Pelicans have one of the top offenses in the league, the Suns have one of the best defenses in the league. So we're going to see these two collide, and that might be a really, really great game to watch out for. Now, Landon, tell us about our Red Sea report.
Well, the Cardinals' season has been very mediocre, but we saw glimpses of what this offense is capable of in their last win against the Saints, in which they scored a season high of 42 points. They will have their work cut out for them Sunday, though, as they will take on the Minnesota Vikings, and the Vikings are 5-1. And they will be put to the test that they have had a great season so far, but they have not yet played very many tough teams and won close games. We all thought they would blow out the teams they played, and also their defense will have the task of stopping DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray. This duo, which has been deadly since they paired up. The Cardinals will be tasked with holding down Justin Jefferson, who has torched every defense this year, while getting passes from a mid-tier quarterback who is Kirk Cousins. ESPN has given the Vikings a 61% chance to win the ball game, which is pretty low considering the contrasting records. The Vikings are 3-0 at home this year, while the Cardinals are 2-1 on the road. So we shall see which team is legitimate this Sunday at 10 a.m.
All right, so talk about the Suns. Chris Paul, he's not scoring the ball like he should. He's 38 years old. He's the Suns' best point guard they have available, and he's one of the best passers we've ever seen in NBA history. What does he need to do to improve his game outside of assisting the ball?
Well, he definitely needs to. I feel like he's not. I can't really say it because
he's too early.
I feel like it's a little too early, but I can't really think of what he definitely has to, because he's doing his job passing.
Sure.
He's getting all the assists.
Best in the league.
Best in the league at passing.
Top.
But shooting wise, maybe just work on your shot. I mean, there's nothing else to tell him.
I mean, it sucks because he's 38 years old. He's been doing this all his life, shooting the ball. He's played 18 seasons, I think. Mm-hmm. And he just needs to shoot the ball more, I think.
Yeah.
Not less, because unfortunately, they lost Jay Crowder. He's not playing right now, and he's one of the top shooters that the Suns have. And Devin Booker's been shooting the lights out. Well, what happens when he has an off game? Who are they going to look to get the scoring? Chris Paul.
Yeah.
And this year he hasn't really produced. I think he had 16 points his last game, which is a season high. But 16 points for a player like Chris Paul is pretty low.
Especially a veteran. So
one of the best veterans in the league.
Yeah.
And again, I'll say he's passing the ball. He's best in the league. And he's arguably one of the best assisters in NBA history. But scoring this season, mid-tier.
Yeah.
Now, Devin Booker, he could get the MVP. I know we talked about it the other day. I think it's going to be Luka. Again, Luka put on a show last night. But Devin Booker is averaging 32. He's had 30 points or above every game. What do you think about him?
Like I said, I had him as my MVP just because he's a stud.
Okay.
And he's always he's been a stud with the Suns for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I think this season is his big standout season. And I feel like he's definitely... I feel like he's the leader on that team. Right. Chris Paul doesn't really seem like he's the leader on that team.
Chris Paul's the leader.
I mean,
whether he's playing good or not, he's the leader.
I'm saying right now, though, just based on how they're playing and who they're looking up to, I feel like Devin Booker is the bigger leader at the moment. But if Chris Paul steps up his game when it comes to shooting, because he's doing passing fine.
Right.
But other than that, if he steps up his shooting and starts to take charge of that team, he will be a great leader for that team.
Sure.
But other than that, right now, Devin Booker is the leader of that team.
Okay. Now, to talk about the NFL, the Vikings are 5-1. I saw some power rankings listed by multiple sources, and people say they're a top 5 team. I don't see it. They haven't played nobody.
They haven't played nobody good.
If they played a team like the Bills, the Chiefs, even the Buccaneers lost last night, but even if they play the Buccaneers, Buccaneers might win that game.
Buccaneers are not good.
Okay, we're not talking about them though right now. But the Vikings, I think this might be a close game with the Cardinals. I know the Cardinals they've had an up and down season.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of issues with injuries with the defense and offensive receivers getting hurt and just offensive issues in general. But they played pretty good against the Saints. A lot of points, 42 points scored, and against a pretty mediocre Vikings defense, they might put up another 42. Who knows?
Do you have any predictions?
I think Cardinals are going to win at 28-27. I think it's going to be that close. I have faith in the Cardinals. Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in the league, and if he's not number 1, he's number 2. He's fantastic, and he's doing, all these performances he's having with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Who, he's good until he needs to be good, and then he's pretty bad because sometimes when they need him to really, have that 75-yard game-winning drive, he can't deliver, and it's like, well, it's Kirk Cousins, you know what I mean? It's not Tom Brady, it's Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
And I think he's a good piece of that offense. He's a good quarterback for them. He's who they need because they have such talent at the wide receiver position, the running back position with Dalvin Cook. Mm-hmm. But if Kirk has a bad game, if we can get to Kirk, if we can pressure him, he's going to have a tough time getting the ball out of his hands. And I think Cardinals' offense is going to be really, really good this week. We got Robbie Anderson, the second game with the Cardinals. He's going to see the ball more with some of our other receivers playing out. Mm-hmm. DeAndre Hopkins, he'll have another game. Yeah. What do you think he's going to pop off like he did his first game back? 10 receptions, 100 yards last game. So,
that's crazy. He is coming back right for your first game,
right?
So I definitely think he's going to pop off and go crazy. But I feel like the Vikings, though, with Jay Jettas, Justin Jefferson, he's insane.
So what's your score prediction then?
I'm going to say the Vikings on this.
Okay.
Just because they're having a good season so far.
And because you're a hater of the Cardinals.
Well, that too. But just because
hate a lot.
Justin Jefferson is extremely hard to guard and extremely hard to stop.
Right.
And I feel like Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson have just a great click. And I just don't think the Cardinals defense will be able to stop that.
Okay.
But Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins,
that's
another great click too.
Great duo.
But the Vikings also have a pretty good defense. But
we've been watching the same Vikings.
They're better than the Cardinals.
Okay.
Their defense is better than the Cardinals.
They're close. We'll say they're close.
The Cardinals side.
Now, before we move on, I do want to talk about Cliff and Kyler. They've been having a lot of issues at the coach, quarterback. You're supposed to have a lot of chemistry there.
That's another reason why I just think the Vikings are going to win. That's just a big reason why I also go against the Cardinals every week because Kyler cannot click with his coach.
Right. We saw a clip of when they played the Saints. Kyler's coming off. I think Cliff called a timeout.
And he was yelling at him.
He's yelling, and Kyler's saying, "Calm down," with some other words thrown in there. But he's saying, "Calm down, calm down, calm down." But he's yelling. Like, we know he's yelling. We can see him visibly frustrated. And they got into it. Yeah. Now, they ended up, since after that timeout, they blew the game wide open. They blew the Saints out. It was a close game toward the end, but 42 points at the offense, it's pretty good. But if they can figure it out, the Cardinals may be a team to watch out for in the NFC West division because the NFC West division has been pretty mediocre this year.
Yeah,
and they have a chance to win it. Now, guys, that's going to wrap up our In the Big Leagues pro sports segment. Up next, Would You Rather? So don't go away. All right, welcome back, guys. Now it's time for Would You Rather. Now, Landon, for our first scenario, let's say you're a pro athlete. Would you rather peak early in your career and kind of have a really bad, you don't play I guess very very long, or peak late in your career and be just one of the best, amazing older players in the league? What would you rather do?
Well, I would definitely want to peak later.
Peak later.
Because I feel like if you don't peak early on, everyone's going to look down on you. And then if you just peak and go crazy, I mean, you're going to surprise everyone. And then when you're playing amazing at an older age, like for instance, Tom Brady, he's not playing insane, but he's also 45 years old and he's doing okay. But he also peaked at around. Actually, he's been peaking probably his whole career.
Probably, yeah. He's been playing, really good football.
Yeah, but
so you're saying
I would peak late.
So you're saying, maybe 5 seasons you're kind of a mediocre player.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden you're amazing.
You go crazy and you just play outstanding your last years of football. Because I would definitely want to end on a great note.
Sure. I would say I'd rather peak early. I think it'd be cool to be one of the best players in the league. Maybe as a rookie.
Yeah.
One of the best rookies. LeBron didn't do it because he's still playing, prime basketball.
Well, you know who did? Jamar Chase.
Well, whatever. But I would rather peak early because if you play 5-6 years of really, really great football, basketball, baseball, whatever it is, the rest of your career you can be a mediocre player living off that money you made your first 5 seasons. And I wouldn't want to play 5 years of then people calling you a bust. You're a bust. You shouldn't have been the first draft pick. Whatever it might be. I wouldn't want to live through that. I'd rather make my money now, play a handful of seasons, be the best in the league, and then just be kind of mediocre. You could still be really, really good, but maybe not what you were your first few seasons.
Okay.
Now, for our second, would you rather stay on an average team, someone maybe like Damian Lillard, or change teams to a divisional rival, but you're a winner now? Ooh. I thought of Damian Lillard with staying with an average team.
Okay, I would stay on the average team because I feel like I'd want to be a standout player on an average team.
Okay,
and have everyone
and loyalty. You want to stay loyal.
Because and I could not just go to a rival team. Because during your career you already have a little bit of. I'm not going to say hatred, but you dislike them.
Right.
You don't like that team because they are your rival. And I would feel weird going to a rival team and winning.
Right.
Just because it wouldn't feel right. Because you've been